Hundreds of you tagged me in this TikTok, and after seeing it, I can tell why. With 9.9 million views, Thompson Woodworks, this dude is just so damn good. All the stuff on his page, but this one particularly is insane. The dude is building a beer drinking apparatus that also holds your chips and some dip so that you can be out doing whatever the hell you feel like without spilling your drink. Absolutely brilliant. I'm gonna try to recreate one just from watching this video, and I think I should be able to pull it off. A couple things, I don't have any dowels, so I'm gonna have to turn a handle, and we gotta get some measurements on a beer can, gotta find something to put some chips in, and I gotta figure out how he did that center mechanism. I think I have an idea for it, but let's go. So we're fancy around here. I ended up having this scrap piece of walnut laying around. Sucker's like 42 by 4, which should be perfect. I also got a can of beer because that's gonna be even more important than anything else here because, you know, can't be an alcoholic if you don't drink. So, what we're gonna start with is just more or less mapping out how much space we're gonna need. These are the Tupperware containers that I found that I think can work for this. We're looking at like 18 inches, so if we cut 2 pieces at 18, we'll be good. Calipers are probably gonna be our best friend on this project. We've got 18 as our first number. Just write that down on the bench because I'm a savage like that. 2.6 inches. So I need a piece of paper. Hold on.
So our beer can measures about 2.6 inches. The cups we're gonna use for the chips and the dip are like 2.7 by 4 something. So I'm gonna need a plate to hold those, a bottom plate to go underneath it on both sides, a side support to run the bearing through, and then a handle that fits my chubby hand.
Cut list wise, we're gonna need 2 13s, 2 7s, and 2 5s. Let's go. So we cut this hole first, right? Then find a way to give me some room here for a handle. We're gonna have to turn a handle. You guys love watching me turn. You all just tell me how absolutely terrible I am at it. And then another piece for here. So I gotta go find some material for those. And then I do like that other post on this end. We wanna get a space in between all of the 2 Tupperware containers in the center. And so we had 11 and a quarter inches with we need 9 inches, 4.5 for these. And so the space lapse, we want 3 of them, just divided that by 3. That's 9/4 inches. Divide that by 3 is 3/4. I don't know why I'm going so fast, maybe because I'm super pumped, but I definitely should slow down because I know I'm gonna make a mistake. And we also know that slow is smooth, smooth is fast. My weld instructor told me that once. I love it. It's also a new piece of merch if you guys are interested. So I think because of the nature of what we're building here, I'm gonna have to go old school, bro, and drill and jigsaw. Too bad I don't have a scroll saw. We're running into a bit of an issue already. I haven't even made anything. One, if you watch the video, which is right here, the can for him slides in really tight, which means we've got to get pretty tight on this 2.6 inch measurement on the can. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use our new laser and I'm gonna cut myself a template and I'm gonna template route out onto this piece. Our laser could actually cut through this 3/4 inch material. So we have the 130 watt. We just got that sucker from Thunder Laser. We're super pumped. Chris knows how to use it really well. I'm just learning and get my brain around it, but pretty pumped to have laser in the shop.
Sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
So instead of cutting this out and not showing you guys how to be awesome, I'm gonna do it by hand so that you can attempt this at home. So I'm just gonna trace this. It's important to make sure in this situation that this is the same size or else your circle won't be centered. I already have a center of the circle here where I want it to go. So now I'm gonna drill a couple holes, get my jigsaw out, do that, and I'll come back with the router after. Let's rip. That fucking turns too tight. Son of a bitch. I hate when I have the right tool for the job and I try to go DIY on it because I can't DIY. I suck at DIY. I went outside the line, Chris. Now I gotta cut a whole new piece because it's not gonna look pretty. Cute. Dumb shit down because people say my builds are unapproachable. And then I do it and I fuck it up. Because I genuinely, it's like hard to go backwards. What the f is this guy doing?
I don't know, man. He's looked lost for like the last 10 minutes.
Shop manager got to figure out the whole layout of the shop.
Who invited him? I can now probably do this. Okay, so now I gotta hold this template down onto here. So just use the laser to cut the hole. Lied to everyone. So we got a top bearing bit for all the novices out there. We're gonna have that bearing, see how it will follow along, and then this will cut the same profile. The only problem we're having is that this is considerably taller than what we need it to be. So I'm going to hold it down and suspend it. Shouldn't hit the table. So here we go. Now we're gonna do the top in a similar fashion. That wood, I think, just blew apart. It has this weird crack in it, see? And it like doesn't like its life. Now, we're gonna do the same thing with a little bit of scrap MDF. We can just make some squares now. So I'm just gonna tape these MDF strips down to my piece because I'll never use them again. So I don't need to put tape on both sides. That's a personal choice on my end. But I'm gonna set up without having the laser do it, the same thing we just did. Stagger the pieces like this, I can keep them long, and the measurements don't matter as much. For those of you that would like to try this, the circle is obviously, you could figure out a way to make a circle. You can cut it by hand, you can shape it on a spindle sander, you can just be patient and perfectly cut it in the wood, and you don't need to do any of that. So what I'm gonna do is clamp one side, route the other, and then come back and do the same on this side. These will peel right off. Do we fit? Oh. We need our bearing parts and a handle. Let's go turn a handle. So we're all chucked up here. And listen, before you guys crucify me, I'm using the tools that I got. I'm not a perfect turner. I'm sorry. Okay, let's go. So for those of you that forget, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna bust out one of these. I'm gonna get a sharp edge on it. These are carbide tipped, and they're a lot better for beginners. These are from Easy Wood Tools. They sent these over. Check them out. I'll have a link down below. I think I'm gonna try to turn it to have just a little bit of like a brrrr to it. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. I've never done anything like this. Yeah, I think I f***ed up already. Gonna stick with what I'm doing. So let's cut it. Next is I want to locate where exactly this handle is going to go so I can drill a hole. We're going to recess it into the bottom here and then drill it through the top. And then I might wedge it if we need to. So to do that, let's double side tape these together. Sweet, to the drill press. Now let's see if my dumbass could get me my handle fit. Perfect. So that fits, kind of.
You always do like a wedge.
That's what I was thinking. The top should be super close. I left it long because I want to cut it off. It's one of the trepidations of learning to turn. I know I'm not doing it completely correct. That might not be coming off.
Say, I hope that's the final fit.
Okay. Yeah, that might be the final fit. Let's show you guys a trick here. Because we gotta cut another hole anyway. So I gotta take my own advice, dude. Slow the hell down. Okay, so I wanna open this up and get some glue to go down, right? So what I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna go like this on the surface, okay, with the glue. Using the bottom, you see it sucks the glue down. Learned that one from the Spags. All right, while we're doing that, let's check out how we're gonna make this thing articulate. These are pillow block bearings. We'll mount on one on each side and put this rod between once I loosen those damn screws, and it should work perfectly. The bearing head itself, this part, is exactly 1 inch, a little over. So I should be able to use a 1 inch Forstner bit, cut directly in the center through these two, screw them from the inside, and then the only gap that will be there is like the 1/8 inch or whatever we leave for the rod. I'm stoked. So I feel like this whole project has just been me double-sided gluing things together, but we're gonna do it again. Trying to get these as close to square as I can. I'm mounting these suckers, getting the bar in, getting the whole thing pretty much mounted and screwed together. I'm pumped. All right, so if you look at the video, we're gonna redo this because our guy, Matt, you have to have the bearing above the center in order to make sure the weight stays distributed below. So I'm gonna re-drill that, and we actually are gonna change it. We're gonna put the bearing, I'm not gonna bury the bearing inside the wood, so I only have to use like a smaller bit. So one more hole, real quick. Now all I gotta do is I'm gonna pre-drill this. This should be dry. Here's my bottom. Do the same thing. And then we're cooking with gas. So much blue tape. Give everything a quick sanding to 150 grit. Now it's just a matter of getting this thing assembled and then prettied up. I'm gonna put all of our bearing parts in before we get this sucker together. Boom. All that's left to do is news team assemble.
News team, assemble!
Little glue, little screw, and we're good to go.
Should make that handle any smaller at the top so it doesn't split again.
I sure as hell didn't, dude. What's this look like? Like I know what I'm doing? It's all about the process, my guy. Before I pretty the sucker up, let's give her a test run. Whoa! You come here, go get that, grab me the beer out of the fridge, please. So, it's together. I'm gonna have to put like something in there to hold the beer up, like a little puck, because my hand wouldn't fit in a smaller thing. This isn't hanging down, so we need counterweight there. What I'm also running into is the bearing, and the way I did it has a lot of play in it, and there's a little bit of imperfection. So I'm gonna clean these up, we're gonna get some finish on them, and then wax the crap out of it. That, I think, will be what we need to get this to work. All right, so to eliminate the flex, Chris and I slept on it, watched the dude's video like 800 more times, and we went and got some different parts that we think are gonna work. So I'm gonna flush up these dowels that I put in yesterday, and then gotta recut the hole on this side. We're gonna see how this goes. Here's a problem I think we're gonna be okay with, but we gotta drill a nice little hole to fit the size of our new bolt. We think most of that issue, when we pulled the sucker out, you guys couldn't see it on camera. You see how much play is in this? That compounded between two of them is the reason that this thing wasn't working very well. It's mostly our fault for buying $8 pillow block hickamajiggies on Amazon because like the ones on McMaster-Carr were like 15 bucks and are probably got a lot less play and are made for like adult usage and not children like me. I don't know what prick made this bit so damn dull.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Round two. Rubber. The intention of the rubber is to give us a little bit of cushion to tighten the nut on the end. It's definitely a little bit smoother.
It's just that bolt, because that bolt's not captured, it wants to loosen every time. Okay, how can I add some weight? For proof of concept, I just grabbed some scrap metal. This probably weighs maybe a pound, 2 pounds. Probably, I don't know. I'm really bad at that. So we'll just add it in. And you can tell on his that he for sure has counterweights. So, necessary evil with this design. Oh! How do I smooth that up? It's so much better than the bearing now. It might just be slightly too tight in the shaft area. Because it's like that's not a very easy motion. It's super close. We just need a better glide. I think we need another washer. We wanted to try the sliding compound too. It's just for metal, which is what the washers are. Oh, the rubber came off. God, this thing's heavy.
Little delayed reaction.
More weight maybe? See, I want to put the weight down here. This is way harder than I was anticipating. Good to that dude for being an absolute G and genius. I just want to drink beers with him and let him tell me how stupid I am. I can still feel the friction in here being the issue. Like if it was like glass smooth or butter smooth, it would work. Well, I also think if the washer wasn't. So I went ahead, I CA glued the head of the bolt on this side. Chris actually printed this plastic washer with a couple standoffs on it to try and eliminate friction. And so we're gonna give this a shot. Oh, before I do that though, I'm gonna lube her up because I think that wax will help. A lot of the issues are coming from the amount of friction in there. So it's much better. Okay. We're gonna have to reach out, dude. And just be like, teach me your mystical arts. It's heavy. So I got some finish on this thing, got a little box to hold the rebar. Now, all we gotta do is add some chips and dip. Bang, Zabruski. And there we go. I will say, it looks awesome. Way better than I anticipated. I had a couple issues with getting it to work, but the moment of truth, the only thing that matters. Can I drink the beer without spilling the rest? Come on. Come on. It doesn't want to turn. Why? Why? It was just turning. This is so much harder than I thought. We're really, really close. I think with a few minor adjustments, it's gonna be perfect. 1 second.
Final round, fight.
Okay, so we've got some bearings that we scrounged through Home Depot and found. This is gonna be my last ditch attempt at this. First bearings we had were too sloppy, if you recall. So I'm sanding these bearings just to get a little bit of grab when I put some epoxy on them into the metal. If I was smarter man and I could plan, I would have left wood in here so they don't pull through. But we're making do with what we got right now. So the goal here is to keep the epoxy nice and clean because we don't want to seize up the bearing itself by filling it with epoxy. So this could get a little bit squirrely. Yeah, those are nice and roughed. Clean that hole up. Mix them 5 minutes. Pull the bearing out, which we were afraid of. All right, let me get the epoxy out. I hope that doesn't seize it up in there. We are dry, and I think this is gonna, I hope it works. We got a little bit of play in this bearing because I put some resin on the nut here too. I want this nut to spin with the bearing. Like I want, that's a bolt, so I'm wrong. I want that bolt to spin with the bearing, so I adhered it to the bearing. And now we'll see if my hypothesis
works.
Hip hop? Hip hop anonymous?
Damn you! You gave him the easy ones!
It's so close. Like the turning is so smooth. Like that's easily the smoothest it has been so far.
I think you just gotta keep tightening it up so either it works or it breaks.
Why not? We've only done this like 18 times. Just been toying around with this stupid thing that you refuse to quit on because you were inferior to the creator of it and don't want to accept that reality.
I'm terrified for that guy though, like if he sees this video.
Oh, he will, and he will be mad. And maybe he won't be mad, I don't know. YouTubers are pretty awesome. Only thing that pisses people off these days is telling them their shopsmith sucks. Let's try this again. The other thing I think too is if I put a spacer, like I would cut this, but there's no need. Pro craftsmanship. This is an arts and crafts project, my guy. That's what I'm talking about. You know, I buy only high-end maple popsicle sticks. He makes it look so effortless. The great ones always do. If I could just keep track of my shit that is right in front of me. Where the hell's that wrench? Is there a wrench on the ground? It's in my hand. Yeah, Bruce Wayne, he's taken a little change in more or less the direction of his heroics, but they're still heroics. Yes. I mean, it is considerably better.
Yeah, that's way better. Like that may actually work now.
Yeah, let's load her up. After countless trial and error, after tons of issues, I think I should reward myself with a 10:45 in the morning beer. Please work. Anytime we get like if it works without weight in it, it never does with the weight. Why aren't you, like it was just working. What happened? Crap. So like, it should, I don't know what's going on. There's so much rubbing. I don't know why it hates me so much. It's pinching really hard here. I can feel it, because if I alleviate that pinch, well, this thing, she sucks. I think if we make it bigger though, I have a solution. I think the joint between the two pieces, it's too small of a rod. Let's see what Chris thinks. I want to make that thing considerably larger and Malecki size it. Let's go with 24-ounce beers and something to keep my queso warm.
All right.
All right, this one should go a little easier. It's so heavy. First and foremost, I need my queso to be warm because I'm a diva. Okay, moment of truth. Crack a beer, move my failure, warm up the arm. Crock pot's on, you can hear it. Oh baby, let's go. Oh yeah, just then to give myself a little dipperoo. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready for tailgating season. That thing weighs about 30 pounds, turned out awesome. I want to send a huge shout out to Matt Thompson, Woodworks. Dude's killing it. probably one of the best channels on the internet right now for woodworking. Hope he doesn't mind that I put my spin on this thing, but make sure you go check him out. If you want to see more ridiculous builds like this, I got a whole playlist right here, and then let me know, what are we gonna build next?